All right. Well, we are starting today with Hurricane Ian in Florida, and they don't call it a disaster for nothing. This is not really a weather show, but there's been a lot of political stuff revolving around the hurricane to get everybody up to speed. Many trapped in Florida as Ian heads towards South Carolina, reported by the Associated Press. There are rescue crews, 2.5 million Florida homes per the Associated Press without power, 2.7 million homes without power, according to other reports. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis told a news conference, "We've never seen storm surge of this magnitude. It is basically a 500-year flooding event. When it comes to casualties, hundreds are feared dead." Now, it takes a while to officially get those numbers, but we now have heard from multiple political leaders who are saying, listen, we're being told about dozens, if not hundreds, just in our municipality. So you start adding that up, and unless everybody's wrong, you're talking about at least hundreds dead. The Daily Beast reporting that, as well as millions more were plunged into darkness in one of the most powerful storms in American history. And then AFP and Yahoo News reporting floods devastation after Hurricane Ian hammers Florida. So there's a couple different things I think that are important to mention here for a show like ours. First of all, we see a completely different Ron DeSantis that I sort of knew existed, in the sense that I've told you all before, DeSantis is not a stupid guy. His incredible violent partisanship, maybe acute partisanship is a better phrase for it, is a sort of a calculated decision. I'm not saying he's not a right winger, but he can get along with everybody when he chooses to. And he has said Joe Biden's been good, helping, and everybody's getting along. And this is not the time for pettiness. And it's just another reminder that it could be like this all the time if people just wanted to be more reasonable, because that's all that's happening. DeSantis is just being more reasonable, in part because he knows that his reelection could potentially hinge on, is he seen as handling the hurricane correctly? In addition, when COVID started, many of us naively and incorrectly thought this will bring the country together. We're all going to unite against the virus. And then we didn't. Many Republicans essentially taking the side of the virus, ignoring all suggestions and guidelines and recommendations and not getting vaccinated, all that different stuff. Okay, fine. With the hurricane, we're just all going to... No. You've got people claiming that the hurricane is a hoax. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean that it's a hoax? Some of them say, well, it was a rainstorm, but it wasn't really that bad. And this was just a way to get the hurricane in the media to avoid talking about fill in the blank, right? Whatever it is, this was a distraction. Some claiming that it was a geo-engineered weather event of some kind. Again, for whose benefit, it's like never really completely clear. Others fixating on the evacuation orders and are they legal or not and mandatory and all these different things. Folks, it's a hurricane. Okay. Oh, and actually, I should say, some also immediately fixating on wanting to blame climate change for this particular hurricane. And as we've talked about before, climate change is not really about any particular hurricane, but climate change models would predict that we would have more extreme events and that the events themselves would be more extreme. But we don't need to play the game of this particular hurricane was caused by climate change and human activities on the planet. We don't need to do that. The climate change models don't require that. So I think that to the extent that people on the left are doing it, also doesn't make sense. The priority is getting power back on, reducing fatalities as much as possible, and starting to get things back together. And we will let you know how things are looking by Monday. The only streaming service dedicated to documentaries is Curiosity Stream, our longtime sponsor. On Curiosity Stream, you will find the best selection of documentaries, better than any other platform. They've got the newest and most critically acclaimed titles. I've been watching Curiosity Stream in my living room. I recently watched the 6-episode series Inside the Mind of a Con Artist. I'm fascinated by scammers and cons and how they get away with what they do. really great series that I can recommend to you. Curiosity Stream is always adding new content. They've got documentaries by filmmakers we know and love, but they make it easy to find new independent documentaries as well. If you want to absorb as much as you can, Curiosity Stream is for you. If you want to retain very little once you turn off the TV, you can also just relax with like a nature documentary. Curiosity Stream has those too. And with the special discount for my audience, you can get Curiosity Stream for $15 a year, not a month, a year. That's under $2 a month. Go to curiositystream.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.